Hi everyone, and welcome back to All My Novel Ideas. This is Sharon. So if you watched my initial HON, then this is the continuation of when I set it up. I did both of those videos in the same night. And if you haven't, then welcome to my setup. It's going to be quite long. I don't expect it to be very chatty, just because I figure you're probably here just to either watch and set up your own journal while it's going on, or just kind of background noise. But the first thing I always do when I get a new Hobonichi planner or any journal is break in the spine. And I know that's gonna horrify some people, but I won't use a journal consistently if it doesn't lie flat. And so the thing to make it lie flat is to first break in the spine. So I start by taking small sections from either side all the way up until the middle and just kind of pressing down along the folded edge. Generally, Hobonichis lie quite flat out of the box, but I just like to coax it even further along, and obviously with use they lie flatter and flatter. This is just what I do with every new journal that I start. So I plan to use my 2023 HON the same way I used my 2022 A6 Techo, and that's as a journal and then kind of just an archive of the year. So the first spread I like to set up is my inks of the year, which it'll just be a collection of the ink colors I use in my different fountain pens throughout the year. The Hobonichi gives you extra months because you could start this in December and you could use it all the way until March 2024, but I don't tend to start my journals before January. So I use the extra month as just kind of a collection area. So I use the pages between the end of the calendars and the beginning of January 1st as a goal page. One side is done kind of like an inspo side, and the other is used as a goal tracking side. I wrote my goal trackers out similar to how someone did them on Instagram, where their tracker was broken into 25% increments, and then they filled them in once they've hit 25% of that goal. I just thought that was nice because it's not putting a timeline to accomplishing the different parts of the goal, but you'll still see the progress you make throughout the year when you get to check them off. So this quote is from Rifle Paper Co. It's from an old rip-off calendar. I liked the artwork the year. I think this might have been 2018, I'm not sure. But all that sits in my paper box that I use is just leftover stuff. And I really liked the designs of the florals, so I kept them. This green Tombow you'll see used quite a bit in my setups is my yearly color. It's Tombow brush pen N027. I believe that's avocado. And it's also my yearly color in my weeks. I just wanted to keep kind of consistency, just because I think, I don't know, it's also the yearly color in my weeks and all of my other journals or notebooks. I don't know why, I just think it kind of adds like a nice consistency, and then also it shows me as a visual, like I can be like, oh, that was 2023, or oh, that was 2022. So yeah, it's a nice neutrally green. All of the paper bits you'll see used here come from my paper box, which is kind of a Mod Podge of leftover papers from mail or old planners or notepads. So this clock is actually from inserts that you get when you buy a Kate Spade ring bound from the to-do section. And then this floral is another Rifle Paper Co. notepad. I think it's important to note for most people that I don't generally plan out my journal setups or spreads all that far in advance. Sometimes, like for my weeks, I'll plan out the different pages that I want as like inspirational, but all of this was done the night I opened my HON, and I kind of was just like, okay, this is the color of the year. I like florals, what do I want to do? And then I went into my paper box and we ran from there. That can be explained by me trying the different forms of how I would write out my goals on this sticky note. I wasn't sure the colors, so the 3 pens that I use in all of my journals are the Tombow brush pen in 027, the click art pen in fawn, and the Sarasa Dry Vintage in Camel Yellow. So you'll see those three used quite a bit here. So the option I ended up going for was the last option I did. That's why sometimes it's good to plan out what you want to do. I don't generally plan out my titles all that hard. I stick to the same kind of title ways, but this was more, it'll be a referenced page quite often, so I wanted it to look pretty, or pretty to what I consider pretty in a journal. As you can see, I still wasn't sure how big I wanted the squares to be, so I decided to draw out the second one and then see how much space I actually had, because I originally wanted to make it 9 boxes, and then I was like, I don't think I'll have enough space to do it that large. So all of my goals this year I've broken down into actionable bullet points, things that I can track so I can see the progress as it occurs. And these are also written in my weeks, which is my go-to planner, and it's also where I track everything. And I find that having all this cross-referenced just helps me be more accountable to what I'm trying to achieve. And also, if I don't accomplish all of these goals, I'm okay with incremental progress, because incremental progress is still progress. And sometimes you set big goals and you don't make them, and then you feel let down, but that's just putting too much pressure. None of these goals are things that I have to do. I just want to. Like, I think they will either make me more creative or help me live a healthier lifestyle. So it's good to achieve them, but it's also just as good to achieve part of them. I hope that makes sense. And at goal 6, this is where we got finicky. This is where you probably should measure things out before you do them, but I'm not really about that life. So, live and let live, I guess. Fun little inside tidbit. I'm doing a project stationery this year. If anyone's ever watched beauty YouTube, project panning is a common practice to like use up your makeup. And I was doing a project pan. I'm still doing one now this year, but I started one last year, and I decided to do a project stationery this year. So I don't like using glue sticks. I would rather use a tape runner, but I have 15 glue sticks that need to get used up, and I ran out of my tape runner, except for a little bit which you'll see later in this video. I just find glue sticks make everything harder because you have to wait for them to dry, because otherwise the residue, it's just the whole thing. But yeah, there's a lot of glue sticks in here, and there'll be glue stick on my channel for most of the year probably, because I can't see myself finishing all of them in 1 year. So the next page we're going to set up is my notes cover page. Since I don't use this as a planner, I actually use my notes section more as the place that I transfer information that I want to archive from the year, stuff that I kept in my weeks or wrote down somewhere else. So I transfer my habit trackers all here at the end of the year, just so I can see the overall yearly progress in one spread. It's just kind of nice data to have. I started this actually just with 2022, and I really like it because this is going to sound now nerdy, but it's basically historical data that I can reference and see, did I improve from last year? Did I have the same things happen in the same months? Like, is there something, oh, okay, you're not going to do so well with your exercise this month because you also didn't do well last year at this time frame. Why do we think that is? It's just a nice place to store all the info because I don't refer to it all that often, but I'll know where it is, that it was archived in this life book for that year. So again, these are Rifle Paper Co. notepads, and then that notes doodle is the Kate Spade inserts. And if anyone with a keen eye, you would have seen that interesting like cartography looking tissue paper is from Roots. It was their tissue paper they were using in 2021. They might still be using it, but I haven't ordered from them in a while. And I saved a whack of it because, I don't know, it just really spoke to me. Like, I love the colors, and I've used it in a bunch of different spreads. For anyone watching, I'm about to warn you that there's going to be 2 mistakes made with my Tombow in a second. I get some of the pen ink on the December 31st, and then I get it on the edging of all of the rest of the notebook. And I think this is just, none of that really bothers me, but I know a lot of people have perfectionism. I'm saying that and I feel I'm hypocritical. I would say I'm also a perfectionist, but not when it comes to my journals. It's kind of the place I'm allowed to go and not have everything occur the way I want it to. But that's also just come from years of journaling, so I get if you're in your first journal and something messed up and it really bothers you, because I've been there. But at the end of the day, it's just a bit of color, and life's better with a bit of color, right? But I'm sorry if that did trigger you and you saw that and you freaked out, because I get it. Here's again where I hate glue sticks, because the amount of times I had to go in to re-glue down that corner really bothered me. And I know it shouldn't, but I just really hate glue sticks. I know this is gonna scare some people, like cutting along the edge of the planner, and I didn't mention it when I did it previously when I was putting up my goals page, but don't worry guys, I'm a professional. Have I cut into the pages of a planner before doing this? Sure, of course. But that happens, you know, that's all part of being a professional at this. It takes time. So now I'm about to start the most labor-intensive thing, which is deciding to number my pages on Tomoe River paper. I want to say it took like hours. I think it was probably only 20 minutes, and that was because I was doing other things as I did it. But I just wish these notes pages were numbered. I wish that about the A6 supplementary notebook they make too. I just wish they were numbered. I know they're not going to do that, but I would greatly appreciate it. Or I wonder if you could pay someone to do, well, that just seems ridiculous now. You're going to see me for the next I don't know how many minutes, every so often pulling my planner, my journal down and numbering the next pages. Bear in mind there's only 15 pages here 14 because we wrote on one. There's only 14 pages we need to number. It takes time. But you know, once you do it, you don't have to do it again. So I guess that's the benefit too, you know? Now we're going to start to plan out the front cover. I have all of these old postcards from... Hi, if you don't know, I'm Canadian. I got all of these from the AGO, which is the Art Gallery of Ontario. I bought them, I don't know, probably like 2017 with the hopes of doing an art wall on one of my walls in my room. And that never happened, so now they're in my scrap paper box. And I thought it would be, one of my goals this year is to find my art style again. So I thought it'd be inspiring to put a painting in the front and also just to use them throughout. So we're using this one by Tom Thompson. It is The Study for the Northern River. I'm writing all of the details on that postcard because I'm about to chop into it, and I wanted to write that information down below the painting once I put it in the planner because I didn't want to forget it, but I knew I was not going to have access to it again. And we made it. The page numbers are done. So happy, so grateful. So on one side we're going to put the painting, and on the other I had saved some old dashboards from the Happy Planner. And I originally, when I cut them, had thought I was going to keep all of that coloring, and then I went, it's just not, it's clashing in my opinion against the blue of the painting. See, I was going to cut the script out, but then I kind of liked the square rectangularness across from each other. I don't know. I decided to cut it in a rectangle, and then along the edge I would put the Tombow brush in 027 just to call back to my yearly color. It did feel like a stroke of brilliance when I thought of it in that moment, I'm not gonna lie. And I am happy with how it turned out, but it was not what I had planned to do at all. So sometimes that happens. Here is the infamous rest of the tape roller. I believe I run out of the tape as I do this. This, of course, is the year of Use My Stationery. And I decided after taping that down, which, see, you couldn't do this if you had glued it, was to tip in this acetate. It's from an old Simply Gilded subscription. As you can see, I put it so the gold foiling would fall on the painting and the silver foiling would fall on the silver lettering. I think if I were to do it again, I might do it the opposite. I feel like I would have preferred if the silver was beside each other, but oh well, live and let live. Maybe my problem with glue stick is maybe I'm just not gentle enough. Like maybe I find it pulls up on the Tamale River because I'm just like slapping it down. So maybe the glue stick isn't the problem. Maybe it's me. No, I'm pretty sure it's the glue stick. Like it should have already stuck that tissue paper down. It's tissue paper. It's not paper. You know what I mean? Once again, glue stick loses. Is anyone else like, you know, you use a glue stick and you just feel like the residue's like stuck to your fingers? I don't know, maybe I am the problem. Let me know. So I had this brilliant idea that I wanted to right-hand side align the words, which that's really easy, you know, when you do it on like Microsoft Word or Pages. But it was pretty difficult judging the distance I needed for every word. I don't think it turned out too bad. I don't know that I would willingly do it again either, you know? I thought it could use a bit of pizzazz, so we were just throwing in some blue washi from MT. It also helped the painting stick down better. Unfortunately, the remnants of that tape roller were reusable instead of permanent tape, so it needed some washi just to help it stick down. And then this Madeline Mona coat was just, again, a scrap paper from Kate Spade Inserts, and I wasn't sure that I actually wanted it to go on the front, so I just washied it to the front. That way I can remove it later on in the year if I don't love it, but I do love the color. Now we're just going to do a quick flip of everything we did, just to refresh your memory. So that was my setup of my 2023 Hobonichi HON. I hope you liked it. I hope you got some inspiration. Or maybe you hated it. I don't know. Let me know. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Bye.